What's going on YouTube? It's your host Bruce GNT, and we are back with another video. And we are going to talk about how Texas is kind of deciding to put a ban on snack foods that you could get with your EBT. So essentially they're saying, hey look, chips, cookies, juices, I'm not sure about all juices, but I heard juices, candy, junk food in general. They're pretty much saying, hey look, we're gonna nix that. We're gonna get rid of that. And look, I'll give you my thoughts after we go over these two videos.
The state of Texas is banning the purchase of chips, soda, junk food, basically, with EBT. Mind you, the price for single ingredients for one meal will run you anywhere from $60 to $80. 60 is being generous. So I don't see, one, why that was any of their business, and two, why would they do such a thing when inflation is at an all-time high right now? And what about those people who don't have access to a home that can, cook and stuff like that? Like, it just don't make sense to me, but hey, I guess we just gotta let them do what they do.
Don't be shocked.
So here's my thing, right? To address her last point, when she's talking about like basically the homeless people or unhoused people, whatever you want to call them, they're the vast minority, and even still within that vast minority, the amount of them that actually get EBT and SNAP, I don't know what the number is, but I'm pretty sure it's not that high. And it look, I understand that may suck, but at the end of the day, we construct laws and policies to affect the vast majority. That's just how that works, sadly. Look, growing up, we were on EBT. And one thing I can tell you from when I was growing up in New York all the way till now, I wasn't seeing homeless people using EBT and SNAP. I mostly saw, and I hate to say it, but it's the truth, I mostly saw single mothers on that shit. Single mother with like 3, 4, 5 kids. Just a real thing. Also, too, I don't know what meal she's eating or what meal she's making that costs $60. And she said and she's essentially lowballing it, but I know for sure it wasn't $60. I made pasta dishes. I made lamb shoulder and broccoli the other day. That lamb shoulder was what, $9.71. The broccoli, maybe at most $2.48. And the spices and everything like that to make it flavorful. I already had all that, so that doesn't really count. So I don't really see how you're getting 60 from that. Are you thinking, hey, when I go to a restaurant, I'm spending like $60 on the meal, so it's probably the same? No, that's not how that works, but good try though. The second point, you're saying how is that their business, but you do know EBT and SNAP is not just like free money. That is a government funded program. Where does the government get their money from? From taxes. Where does taxes come from? The people. So in other words, it's everyone's business. Not because we're not taking the benefit from it. That does not mean we don't have the right to speak about it. Our taxes pay for it, so we have the right to say something about it because you're getting it from the government. It's not free money. It's not how that works. And then her last point, well, not really the last point, but the last point I'm going to address. Inflation is not at all-time high. It's at 2.83%, I believe. They just did numbers for it in the beginning of the year. So incorrect. Y'all better get accustomed shopping at Aldi's, Walmart, Lidl, or Lidl. It's like some German supermarket. Y'all better get accustomed to that. HEB if you're like in Texas or whatnot. Actually, yeah, Texas. That's exactly where they're at. Texas. Yeah, HEB. I heard it's cheap down there. Y'all better start finding ways to make it stretch because the snacks. And then not only that, look, it's junk food. You literally said it in the name. Junk food. Why would you be fussing to shove it into your mouth? You could use your own money because unless you can't afford it. If you can't afford junk food, maybe you shouldn't be buying it. My own personal opinion. But let's just jump into the last video, because I want to keep this one short.
Texas will be the first state to ban junk food being bought with your EBT/food stamp benefits. I'm not sure if the ban took place yet. I don't think it took place yet, but it's talks that they want to ban soda, candy, juice, chips, cookies, any snack products to be bought with EBT/SNAP food stamp benefits. And I'm not against that. I mean, food stamps should be used to buy food to cook in your house. 100% agree. But also, children and adults deserve a snack every now and again. So I'm like in between because people do deserve a cookie, a bag of chips, or a snack, some juice if you want it, every now and again. But you can also buy those items with your cash because food stamps is meant to help. It's not meant to stretch and last the whole month. And everybody who has gotten food stamps before know that food stamps do not last the whole month. So if you want the snacks and the junk food or whatever else you want, you buy that with your cash and use your food stamp benefits to buy food for your children. Now I think they just need to work on the price of eggs. Let's work on the price of this food because Y'all want to regulate everything that people buying, all the junk and the snacks, but let's also get the price of this food down, because the food prices are ridiculous and have been for quite some time now.
Yeah, I completely agree. Honestly, look, if you want a cookie, a little snack cake, and everything like that, don't buy it at the store. I'm telling you, look at the back of the back of those items and read the ingredients and look it up. I'm telling you, if you knew what was in that stuff and the effect it has on us, trust me, you wouldn't be eating it either. I did a video on how they just banned red dye 3, even though they have about 2 years to really work on getting it out of their products. They knew red dye 3 is toxic and not good for us because they banned it out of cosmetics 35 years ago. And they're just now banning it now. And it doesn't even make a difference because they're just going to jump to red 40. I'm telling you, start looking up what you're eating. That's why I'm not trying to judge anybody, but I don't eat out. I don't eat snack cakes and everything like that. I don't eat candy. I make my shit myself. Like, even from the most minute things, I know I might seem a little cynical, but I make pancakes from scratch. Like, I don't get the pancake mix. No, I don't do that. I just make my own pancake mix. All natural ingredients. Well, as natural as they can be, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with like different types of sweets. I'm just gonna make my own cookies, make my own brownies. Why not? Be self-sufficient. I said it earlier, use your own money. And if you can't afford it, then maybe you shouldn't be eating it. And yes, I understand there's a minority of people who may not have the ability to cook, but it sucks. That's just how it has to be. Because I'm pretty sure they see that people are kind of being unhealthy in the things that they're eating. And yeah, you could say, oh, why they want to control what we eat? Look, I've seen how some of y'all eat, bro. And I'm not even talking about like people that have fat. I just mean in general. You guys do not eat well. Some of y'all don't even drink water. And I read some of the comments. Some of the people are really struggling because they're like, you know what? I have autistic children. They like certain foods. Yet again, it might be cruel for me to say, but you're just going to have to buy that out of pocket. Or find some other alternative or something. Because, and I'm not saying this to be like they're doing this because they just want to like hate on people. Like at the end of the day, like I said before, it is junk food. It is junk food. It's terrible for you. You know, you're just gonna have to find a way to survive without it. I'm sorry. You know, or honestly, there are off-brand alternatives that are way cheaper. Trust me. Like, you don't need to get the on-brand Oreos. I don't eat like, you know, packaged food or anything like that anymore, but the off-brand Oreos, just as good, honestly. You know, I could be wrong, but I'm just saying. Yeah, you know what? They're gonna start cracking down on SNAP and EBT. Trust me, they will. Because I know growing up in my mother's age, they used to give them like the actual stamps and they would like legitimately sell them. And then nowadays what people do is like, hey, look, I'll buy your groceries and just give me $300. Like, that's what people do. Like, I've seen it. And I know people that move like that. I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, they're really going to start cracking down on this because they realize that a lot of people are taking advantage. A lot of people are taking advantage. And not only that too, look, read the back of your food. Read the ingredients of your food. Trust me, if you can't pronounce half that shit, you probably shouldn't be eating it. Or at least look it up to see if it's something that you want to put in your body. That's your choice. Your choice. I think the main important point that I care about, because I don't care what adults do. Honestly, I don't. I care about what happens to these kids. And these kids shouldn't be having all this nonsense and junk shoveled down their throats. It's not fair. It's truly not fair. You guys already know the drill. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe if you want more. Because I'm going to be... You know what? I thought about doing like a whole series where I do like Bruce GNT versus TikTok, or I just show insane TikTok videos and, you know, talk about it. And I'll try to diversify between things I agree with, things I don't agree with, you know, to really make it fresh and so it doesn't get stale. So think about doing that. I might implement that sometime next week. But that's it for now, guys. See you next time. Peace.